A gentleman from the sun. Never before had I seen the deep foliage of woodlands navigated by canoes, but on they came sailing through the leaves, two abreast, borne on men's shoulders, in each a chief, carried along to the measured march of his bearers, paddle blades reversed under arms. As they emerged, the multitude made gestures of homage. At the distance of some 8 or 10 paces, the procession halted, when the kings alighted to the ground. They were fine-looking men, arrayed in various garbs. Rare the show of stained feathers, and jewels, and other ornaments. Brave the floating of dyed mantles. The regal bearing of these personages, the deference paid them, and their entire self-possession, not a little surprised me. And it seemed preposterous to assume a divine dignity in the presence of these undoubted potentates of terra firma. Taji seemed oozing from my fingers' ends, but courage, and directing my crest, I strove to look every inch the character I had determined to assume. For a time, it was almost impossible to tell with what emotions precisely the chiefs regarded me. They said not a word, but plucking up heart of grace, I crossed my cutlass on my chest, and reposing my hand on the hilt, addressed their high mightinesses thus: Men of Mardi, I come from the sun. When this morning it rose and touched the wave, I pushed my shallop from its golden beach, and hither sailed before its level rays. I am Taji. More would have been added, but I paused for the effect of my exordium. Stepping back a pace or two, the chiefs eagerly conversed. Emboldened, I returned to the charge, and labored hard to impress them with just such impressions of me and mine as I deemed desirable. The gentle Yilla was a seraph from the sun. Samoa I had picked off a wreath in my route from that orb. And as for the skyman, why, as his name imported, he came from above. In a word, we were all strolling divinities. Advancing toward the chamois, one of the kings, a calm old man, now addressed me as follows: Is this indeed Taji, he who, according to a tradition, was to return to us after 5,000 moons? But that period is as yet unexpired. What bring'st thou hither then, Taji, before thy time? Thou wast but a quarrelsome demigod, say the legends, when thou dwelt among our sires. But wherefore comest thou, Taji? Truly, thou wilt interfere with the worship of thy images, and we have plenty of gods besides thee. But comest thou to fight? We have plenty of spears, and desire not thine. Comest thou to dwell? Small are the houses of Mardi. Or comest thou to fish in the sea? Tell us, Taji. Now all this was a series of posers hard to be answered, furnishing a curious example, moreover, of the reception given to strange demigods when they travel without their portmanteaus, and also of the familiar manner in which these kings address the immortals. Much I mourned that I had not previously studied better my part, and learned the precise nature of my previous existence in the land. But nothing like carrying it bravely. Attend, Taji comes, old man, because it pleases him to come, and Taji will depart when it suits him. Ask the shades of your sires whether Taji thus scurvily greeted them, when they came stalking into his presence in the land of spirits. No, Taji spread the banquet. He removed their mantles. He kindled a fire to drive away the damp. He said not, Come you to fight, you fogs and vapors? Come you to dwell, or come you to fish in the sea? Go to, then, kings of Mardi. Upon this, the old king fell back, and his place was supplied by a noble chief of a free, frank bearing. Advancing quickly toward the boat, he exclaimed, I am Media, the son of Media. Thrice welcome, Taji. On my island of Odo hast thou an altar. I claim thee for my guest. He then reminded the rest that the strangers had voyaged far and needed repose, and furthermore, that he proposed escorting them forthwith to his own dominions, where next day he would be happy to welcome all visitants. And, good as his word, he commanded his followers to range themselves under the chamois. Springing out of our prow, the Upoluan was followed by Jarl, leaving Yilla and Taji to be borne therein toward the sea. Soon we were once more afloat. By our side, Media, sociably seated, 6 of his paddlers, perched upon the gunwale, swiftly urging us over the lagoon. The transition from the grove to the sea was instantaneous. All seemed a dream. The place to which we were hastening being some distance away, as we rounded isle after isle, the extent of the archipelago grew upon us greatly. Chapter 54